This is Trey Alvey with your 28storms.com Friday evening update. Start off by showing you an image of the water vapor loop. And as you can see, we have a pronounced trough over the eastern United States. And this is what brought our previous storm system earlier this week. And then we also have an upper level low over in the Pacific. And this will be gradually moving eastward as it weakens and becomes an open shortwave trough. And then we also have several disturbances moving into the northwest. And now here's a model plot from the latest GFS run. And as you can see, moving forward in time, we have a weak low that develops over Texas. And this is associated with that upper level low that's going to open up into a shortwave trough. And it should gradually weaken as it moves across the southeast. So areas across Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi and Arkansas can expect rain, but this precipitation shield should be gradually weakened as it shifts eastward. And as we move forward in time, you can see that a large upper level trough begins to dig out in the west. And this positively tilted trough has a 1051 millibar high pressure system associated with it. And as we progress a little bit further in time, you can see a low pressure system develops along a very strong cold front. And we have very cold air behind it with that 1050 millibar high pressure. And putting it further in motion, you can see this low pressure system moves across the southeast from the Arklatex area and moves up into the Ohio Valley. And now switching over to the 12Z European, we can see that through the short range, it is in fairly good agreement with the GFS, and even through the medium range, it is actually in fairly good agreement right now, taking that low pressure system from the Arklatex region and moving it northeastward as an upper level trough digs into the central and western United States. This is the Canadian model for 18Z on Tuesday. And as you can see, it develops a very strong low pressure system right in that Arklatex region again, associated with the upper level trough. And actually, as we move forward in time, it strengthens it rapidly into a 993 millibar low as it moves northeastward towards the Ohio Valley. Right now, the Canadian model is one of the more extreme solutions, but generally the models have been trending more aggressive with this system and further northward, thus increasing the chance for severe weather across the southeast. Now, we'll get back to talking about the severe weather aspect in a minute, but first going to begin by showing you a snowfall accumulation map, and this is essentially the GFS forecast after the system moves through. And as you can see, it paints pretty high totals across the southern plains and into the Midwest. Generally on 6 to 12 inches, with some areas receiving higher totals. Now back to discussing the severe aspect of the system. One thing we generally look for this time of year is the moisture quality available when we're looking for severe weather. And dry air has definitely intruded into the Gulf of Mexico and over towards the eastern or western Atlantic rather. And this is actually fairly normal for this time of year with strong fronts pushing through. However, we still have the deep moisture down in the Caribbean, and with some southeasterly flow and warm air advection, especially with the ridge orientation off the southeast United States, we can get that flow that brings that warmer, moist air into the southeastern United States. Now, switching over to the GFS model once again, this is the forecast for Tuesday evening, and as you can see, we definitely have very favorable dew points into the mid-60s across the Gulf Coast region, south of the low pressure region. The GFS model has been the one to keep the low pressure further south, however it has been trending further north, and basically what this is telling us is that areas south of low pressure should have favorable dew points and moisture quality for severe weather. Here's another image from the GFS, and this shows the mid-level moisture. And due to the positive tilt of the trough and the broad nature of it, we get that flow off the Mexican plateau and the Rockies, and this will help to bring in dry mid-level air which is also favorable severe weather. When we look at our soundings, we want there to be that drier in the mid-levels rather than moisture all the way up, which we often get in the southeast. Taking a look at our stability now, this is the GFS ensemble mean, and we have values of 300 to 600 and even 900 over eastern Texas and into Louisiana for Tuesday. And this has been trending upwards in recent model runs, and expect that to continue, especially with the low now being placed further north and GFS actually being the furthest south out of most of them. And finally, this is a quick look at the SPC Mars forecast output. This is created by the Storm Prediction Center, and it basically uses analog cases of previous severe weather events and breaks them down into key parameters that are necessary for severe weather. And generally you want to look for areas of 15 to 25% or higher, and these areas are at risk for significant severe weather. As you can see, looking at this output for Tuesday, we have 15 and even 25% outlook over northern Louisiana and into central Mississippi. So based on all these ingredients that we've been discussing, the threat is certainly there for severe weather. Right now it's too far out to pinpoint exactly what the threats are and what areas will be under the gun. However, we will be continuing to monitor this in the upcoming days. So stay tuned to 28storms.com as we put out more updates in the coming future.